Hello, and welcome to MFM Reaper. Now, you may have been recording for a very long time in the program you're used to. You may have been using Logic, or you may have been using Cubase, or you may be using Pro Tools, or possibly some other program I've never heard of that's equally interesting visually. And then you've come to try a program called Reaper, which looks like this. Now, this looks very basic in comparison to what we've just been looking at. But the good news is, all of the themes that you've just been looking at are the program called Reaper. So if you go to the Reaper page and the Reaper stash, you can download any of these themes and many, many more. Let's have a look at the theme I use, which is Default Commola. I've modified it slightly. The background I've made blue and some text I've changed. There's no tracks in there at the moment. This is the main toolbar. You can create buttons and assign them to actions, same as with the upper toolbar, giving you access to some of the action list actions really quickly. So this is a new track in the track control panel TCP. I like to mix tracks down into buses, and this is the track layout I use for buses. Just the size of the meter. I don't really need much of the other information in there. But if I wanted to change the colouring of the meter itself, I could go into the track panel, change it from a white fader to a gold fader. In a previous video, I've shown you how to auto name to get the icon and auto color at the same time, so you could combine those things. This is the layout I like to use for tracks, long name and a long meter. So when that's condensed, you really don't lose too much information for what you want from the track. And then below would be the bus track. So let's take a look at the mixer. I usually put the mixer onto a second screen, which is to my right. Directly below it is the SL25, which controls all the plugins, and I don't need to touch anything else once I'm using a plugin with that. So I'll pop that up on the screen. And let's go and open the mixer window. Go to the top, look for View. Might not be in the same order as mine. Just find View. Click on the mixer. Should come up floating like that. Okay, I'm just going to pop it on the second screen. And then in the main window, I'll create a bunch of tracks. And they appear in the mixer window. You can change the layout of the tracks in the mixer window just the same as we did in the arrange window. So they could all look completely different. They also synchronize, so whenever you select a track in one, you select a track in the other. You don't have to view the mixer just this way. I like to use the mixer within the arrange window, and I like to have the master within the arrange window as well. And there is a way we can do that. So if you highlight the mixer window, as we have done there, there's a different menu than when you highlight the arrange window. That's the big menu across the top. So highlight the mixer window, go up to mixer. And these are some of the things you can alter to organize the tracks the way that you want in your mixer window. The one I'm really interested in is Dock Mixer in Docker, which is any one of the four faces of the arrange. And if I wanted to move that from the left where it's appeared, I could drag it by that tab and push it down to the bottom, push it to the right, push it to the top, and it would appear there. Now I wanted to select my track and see that selected in the mixer. Well, that's not happening. All I'm seeing is the edge of the master track. So pull the mixer out of the Docker so it's floating. Go up to mixer, go to master track, and then show in Docker. That's appeared on my right. Again, you can grab the tab and move it to wherever you want. I prefer that on the right and the mixer track on the left. If you opposite click in the dark space on the mixer itself, you get the same menu as you would have done up at the top. So it's just a bit easier to get to. So let's dock the mixer in Docker. 3's highlight, 2, 1. Great, so they're synchronized, and I get all that information to do with the sends up the left of the mixer there, added to the visual information I've got on my TCP. If you close the floating window of the master, it'll appear in the mixer this way. If you wanted to move where the master is, you can show it in the floating window. You can have it on the right of the mixer, you can move it to the left, And you've obviously got all the other options of how you might want to lay the mixer window out. But if you wanted to have it the way I had it, you have to have the mixer floating in a separate Docker, or you'll get this. And just to recap how to correct that, grab the slippery mixer tab, pull it into the screen, move your master track into the Docker, put that wherever you want. Mine's far right, I like it there. Dock the mixer in Docker, and there's the synchronization, and you can see the master track as well. You could also, if you used something like Studio One or Logic, I know you can toggle this so it appears this way. Instead of me dragging it up and down, that would toggle full and less. You can put it up at the top, and you could put it over on the right hand side where the master is, but that's probably not very useful. So now these tracks, when they shrink up, I've got a good view of metering, yet on the track's left in the mixer selection, I can see all of the sends, all the plugins, all the plugin names, and when they're bypassed. And obviously you can color code those as well. I just want to talk to you about an idea to do with hotkeys that helps me remember massive amounts of hotkeys using a certain amount of logic for me. Control and whatever your hotkey might be, they'd be track related. Wouldn't be anything to do with items, any hotkey you like, but if it's got control pressed as its modifier, it's to do with tracks. The alt key is all item related, so any type of editing, any hotkey used with the alt, it's to do with the items on the page. Command and any of your hotkeys, I'll be trying to convince you to use mine, will be multiple, all tracks, all items, more than. And the opposite to that would be shift, which would apply to delete, remove, and bypass any of your hotkeys. Hopefully you'll start using the ones I'm using. Well, it must be time to go. I can hear the angels and alien seagulls. Thanks for watching.